What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Raf Esparza, coming to you live. Yes, this time live. Sometimes we have to take a second. Are we live? Are we not live? This weekend, you saw a little bit of myself and our good friend Tim Freeman. We'll talk to him in a second. But yes, your boy is alive. Thank God. It's a very big process putting together a big show for SUBVERSIV out in Pennsylvania. It was a great event. We're going to talk a lot about it, but why don't we go ahead and say hi first to my good friend Tim. Tim, how you doing, sir?
Highly favored and blessed, my brother. I am super stoked to be back home. Raf, it was great seeing you in the flesh. And if you're watching, this was the first time we got to work together, so it was absolutely fantastic in that capacity. So that was great. And I made it home safely from the Spooky Nook Sports Complex, which, no shade on, I'm just saying, the back rooms could be in there somewhere. It's large enough that the entrance to the back rooms could be in that complex somewhere. I stayed in my lane. I've seen all the scary movies. I'm not messing around. It's named Spooky Nook. You just keep your curiosity to yourself and do your job. No, but it was great, man. I had a great time there.
Some of you were not privy to seeing the pre-show and Tim's superb work of researching why it was called Spooky Nook. And I'd relayed as part of your great research to the team what you had did, and they were all like, well, what does it mean? I was like, well, watch the pre-show. Like, I'm not going to tell you. You did the research. Go watch the show. So I found that incredibly entertaining, but Tim did such a great job. Howdy, my boys. Howdy to you, boss commissioner himself. I know you see something on the board in a little bit that we'll get to and we're excited to talk about. But I can tell you this, Tim. I thought that we really did a great job on commentary together. It was so much fun to work with you. It's so wild that we've known each other for so long, done so many collaborations. You've appeared on my show. I've appeared on your show. We now do a show together. We now do tons of shows together outside of this pre and post show. We've never done commentary together. How did that oversight happen?
I don't know. I think what happened is the times when I would be doing it, you would be producing. You were always behind the camera on the other side, making it all work. But this was one of those times where, one, you were kind of making it all work. But of course, got to give credit to guys like Big Rob and Octavio, all these dudes that you've worked with a bunch of times who are awesome. And so we actually got to sit down side by side and do it, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely was funny to me because I just kept thinking to myself, I was like, well, there's a first time for everything, so we'll make it work. And I had so much fun doing it, and I knew we would have fun. That's the weirdest part to me in this whole situation is I just knew we haven't had the opportunity to work together, so this really did make things go together. And it says, that's crazy. It was the first time that y'all did commentary together. I mean, Brandon's known us for a very long time, so he can attest to how weird it is that is the first time. Because you would assume, given the fact that you and I are at desks all the time, we're on shows like this, that would have already happened. So I made it a point. I said, no, I want to do this with my friend Tim. And it was so great. You're so good at commentary, Tim. You're an underutilized gem in that regard. And what I really do appreciate is that off air, candidly, there would be some things that you and I could talk about that I would look at you and just, you already know what I was saying without doing anything, just darting my eyes. You could read my body language and you would know the producer thought I would have in my head. And that's a very rare skill because some people think they speak fluent Raf nonverbals and they are sorely mistaken. And Tim was 100% correct every time. He was like, so did that happen? Mm-hmm. Oh,
There was a couple times Look, I don't want to see you suffer and be in misery, but I do derive a certain joy out of watching people do ridiculous things and then see the look on your face as they're doing it or talking to you. It's particularly like a fun thing of mine when we're around each other working. And I'll make a note like I'm going to talk to him about that later.
See, you're still being kind about it, but we didn't even get to the fact that my wife wanted you to take photos of me in suffering pain and send them to her. Like, she wanted you to capture the thought process. Like, my wife goes, I want at least 2 of these photos from Tim.
Oh, I got a couple of them. I'll send them your way.
You did snag one that I didn't even see. And that, maybe I did see it and I just had no time to care about it. Because when I saw it on the board, he put it up just like he does on the little windows over there. And when he put it up, I go, when did you get that? Because it looked vaguely like a fish angle AI picture recapture. And you go, no, I assure you I got it for real. And I go, okay, that's fine. But it does look like you asked it to AI recreate me from a certain particular angle. So
I did it.
Let me ask this, Tim. You got to travel with the boys. You had great scenes behind the scenes. I didn't see you at every second of the weekend. Did you have a favorite moment from this weekend's collective of nonsense?
I mean, I gotta say, like, the show part for sure was my favorite part. Doing the commentary with you was awesome. Sharing that experience was great. In particular, I did have some favorite. I have 2 things, but they're related together. It is the gentleman, and I apologize, he's a young athlete. I do not remember his name. You might remember his name. It is the gentleman who competed under the Teparillo rule set, won his match, and then proceeded to open up a cold beverage, make a mess. You guys made him clean the mat. And then at the end of his speech, he decided to let everyone know how much he hated the Philadelphia teams, which was a very Pittsburgh thing to do. I thought that was hilarious in a certain way, right? And then I ran into that guy later that night when I got off the elevator, and he proceeded to march down the hall to me to explain himself to me, how he meant no harm and he hopes no one's upset. And I just patted him on the back and said, buddy, I think you're going to be okay. I got to say that was quite fun, man. And also to see the joy that those athletes and the spectators had. They were really, really stoked that Subversive was there, and they had never seen anything like that. And I thought that was a major, major plus. And that was pretty cool to see. Everybody left happy.
Yeah, it was difficult for me during the show where everybody came up to me and they're like, you got to come back. And I was like, I got to get through this one. Don't put that on me right now. I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, let alone what I'm doing next week. You're trying to ask me to come back here right now. I think the kid's named Lucas, if I remember correctly. It's going to take me a second here because I'm looking it up. I ran into him later as well. And yes, Lucas Jones, young Lucas Jones.
Legendary Lucas Jones.
Lucas did do something where he was trying to be stone cold drinking a beer on the mats. And the thing that nobody thinks about is, well, other people are still going to roll on those mats. So it's going to have a beer smell. And I don't know if you know this, but beer smell and beer in the eyes are not the most desirable effects when you're grappling. So his coach immediately told him, you have to clean that up. So I knew there was a good sense about him. And he made sure he was like, oh, I'll clean it up. And I was like, that did not look assured when you did the act. Now, I'm a huge pro wrestling fan, but I'm also a logistics fan. So I was stalling on the air, and then he goes, oh, I can stall. And I was like, I think we've let you make enough choices as is, young man. Allow me to just, and then that's when he said, he's like, well, you don't need to have them clean up. I'm going to clean it up. And I thought that is a commendable move. For him to then proceed to go into fuck the birds, which really has no effect on me. Like,
Right.
Doesn't affect me in the least because it's not like that's my team, that's my city. I'm just kind of like, whatever you say, my guy. F the birds. Oh no. But just to kind of give you an idea, if you didn't see what I look like on air, Tim, I did snag a screenshot of how I looked when he did that particular cut in. And I think it's at least worth sharing here for the home audience. I'm just going to overlay it. I'm going to let you see if this is accurate to your memory.
This kid looks like Lucas Von Erich, man. This is wild. The look on your face is great, dude.
Let's put it this way.
There's no better
scene partner in any jiu-jitsu event than me. Like, I will make sure to give you the reactions you're probably looking for. And what always astounds me is that, especially for the MMA athletes, they'll be like, dude, you got to see your face. And I'm like, I made the face. I know what I look like. I know exactly the face I made because it's a reaction, my friends. So I'm just giving you an honest reaction of, you get on the microphone and start saying, F the birds, F this, F that. What do you expect my face to make? Do you want me to just no sell it and be like, well, this isn't important?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't watch football. That's what you should have said. I don't watch football.
I don't watch basketball. Thank you for offering, young man. All right, Tim, let's get straight to it. We were already talking about Subversive. We might as well get to talking about it as an entire brand. Tim, this weekend, Subversive Fight Club, Philly went down. I would love for you to give me some highlights, some moments from the action, and maybe reveal back a little bit of that curtain to let people know what they didn't see on air.
Yeah, so there was a great night of fights at the Subversive event, and it was pitted as Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia. And it became, I think, I started to suss it out, and I think Raf did as well early on, that it kind of felt like the Pittsburgh guys were pretty like showing up. They were ready to make a statement. Maybe not the same intensity on the Philadelphia side. And I really thought about that. And I think it's because Philadelphia is such a historic city in the United States. It's a very large city. It's much larger than Pittsburgh. There's probably like this San Francisco, Oakland dynamic, similar kind of thing. Like, we're the big brother and you're just like, whatever you're doing. Yeah, we're better than you. But Pittsburgh showed up to fight, and wow, they put on a great show. They won a majority of their matchups, being led by their head coach, who I apologize, I don't have the names queued up, but they did a fantastic job. We mentioned Lucas Jones, who was highly entertaining. Also, did a technique that I hadn't seen, and it probably has happened, I just hadn't seen it. In the Taparia rules, he dropped to a knee so his knee would be down, and then he slapped his opponent in the face while his knee was down. And then he did it again because it worked so well the first time, and then it like triggered his opponent, and his opponent realized, I could do that too. And then they went into almost like a Turkish knee dance where they were just in sync, kneeling and throwing right hand slaps to each other's face. It was fantastic to watch. They put on a great matchup. Speaking of, the great matchups, Noah Chin versus Andrew Cockle, I thought was a fantastic matchup. Probably a tough decision for Andrew to take, but I did think Noah, in his post-fight talk, I think he was pretty realistic about it and was very professional, and I think he gave a very good analysis in that he turned it on late and it looked good, and it probably was just enough to get him over. But nice job to him. I thought he did a fantastic job. Lots of good matchups on the card. I really did like that some of these athletes, they fought twice on the card. Some of them did no-gi, jiu-jitsu matchups, and then they came back and did taparia, which is open hand strikes on the ground. Overall, I thought it was a great night. Off camera, I got to hang out with the Subversive crew. Um, Basically, they were my ride from the airport to the venue, which is a couple hours, right? And from the venue back to the airport. And a lot of these guys I know from the jiu-jitsu world, some of them I don't. But look, I'm an adult. I'm 48 years old. I'm responsible. I'm not trying to get left behind anywhere. So I was on a mission to find these dudes at the airport. And the airport in Philly was packed when I arrived. And I just stood at that gate and I was and so many damn people came off of that airplane. I thought there's no way these guys aren't on that plane. And then I saw Octavio walk out and I just accosted him from the side. He had no idea. I basically Jeff Galili'd him just right at the airport. I just drove him. I attacked him from the side and said, "Hey, what's up?" Linked up with him. We got the rest of the crew. That was great. Went back into Philly on the way back. Raf had a Philadelphia cheesesteak, which was fantastic. Got to hang out with the crew. We got lost a little bit, went to a place that was closed. Typical guy stuff. Typical stuff when you got 10 dudes all with a phone in their pocket. Not one of them's going to use it to figure anything out. So overall, man, I had a great time. And if you haven't been to a Subversive show or you haven't watched one, you're missing it, because there is a certain ingredient that's going on at those shows where you can't look away. Like you know something's going to happen. And I really, really do like that energy and appeal of the show.
Okay. I have some qualifying questions here, Tim.
Let's do it.
Where was your Philly cheesesteak from?
Okay. Now, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but you asked me a question, so I'll speak the truth. I've never been to Philadelphia. I'm a West Coast kid, just like yourself, right?
For sure.
So I've only seen Philadelphia watching Rocky. That's all I know about Philly. But I for sure wanted to go get a cheesesteak, and that was the plan. PJ, head ref, I'm assuming he's head ref of Subversive. I'm thinking maybe not, but he was one of the drivers, and Gus was a driver. And look, these are guys that like to eat. I'm not saying anything nobody doesn't know. And I heard when we got in the van to go to the venue, when we first all arrived, they were already making plans for the way back to get a cheesesteak. And I'm like, count me in. I want this. I want to be part of it. So originally we were going to go to Gino's. That was the plan. And then the word was put out, Gino's trash. Now, this is a common thing. I don't know if this is just a West Coast thing, but a guy thing. But literally, like the bathroom can run out of paper towels and somebody will go, that place is trash. And then like you won't go there because one dude said it was trash. So he declared it. Somebody declared it trash. I'm not going to say who. But somebody with enough influence that
because I saw the group chat and I wasn't with you guys because I was closing up business. So I got left behind as the responsible adult to close things out, make sure nobody left anything behind. I think I did a decent job in double checking that. But when I saw you guys all together, I saw a very lively group chat where people were pissed off about what they were saying. Now, you're alluding to the fact that PJ had it set in his heart and maybe somebody else didn't feel the same way. And that somebody else was our very own CEO, Mike, who was in there and going, Gino's is trash, and declaring it. Now, this is where I have to step in because I'm not there. If I had been there, I probably would have been like, Mike, give the boys what they want. Or it's now on you to provide the best Philly cheesesteak, and the pressure is on. And if it sucks, they will never let you live it down. But I was not there. So what ended up happening, Tim?
So sitting in the van next to me is one Samson Fomabout, who has lots of experience in Philadelphia. He knew about all the spots. And he's like, well, what are we going to do? Then the word came in, we're going to go to Angelo's. So we're like, hey, we're going to Angelo's. My first question is Angelo's a cheesesteak place? I don't know. I look it up. Well, no, it's a pizza spot. They do have cheesesteaks, but it's rated okay. It's okay. So we're like, look, man, I'm just along for the ride, hanging with the boys, chilling like a villain, no stress in the world. I know we're going to eat somewhere. we start rolling to Angelo's, and PJ's feeling a certain kind of way about it. And it turns out that Angelo's isn't open on Sundays. So we can't go to Angelo's because they're not open. And we can't go to Geno's because the Geno's has been declared trash. So we end up at Woodrow's. Now, when I think Philly cheesesteak, I don't think Woodrow's, but I will say this. It was a good Philly cheesesteak. I don't think it's considered like an OG authentic Philly cheesesteak. I think it's considered like a Shake Shack burger type of cheesesteak, like a modern kind of, whatever thing. But it was good enough. I had a great time. And I'll tell you what I did. I pulled the OG move. We're going into this place and there's like 14 dudes. All right. There's one counter to order at. And these guys are all standing around, scratching their butts, trying to figure out what they're going to do. And I made a beeline to that counter. I'm like, I'm getting my order in first. Because if I stand around with these dudes, man, it's going to be an hour. So yeah, I pulled that vet move. It was fantastic though. I did have a really nice time, man.
A note here, which I can concur. Samson has a lot of experience in many cities. He frightens me. And that is from BMAC. So I'll share my experience, but I want to start with this. PJ, we love you. He does so much work for us. I felt so bad because in the group chat, as we were about to go out to Philly, he's like, hey, can we go to the Rocky Steps? And I was like, no, we don't have time. And I'm thinking it's more logistics than I don't want you to go. It's more like, hey, man, it's a really tight schedule. We get in the day before. You guys have travel, then travel in a car for 2 hours to get to the venue. It just doesn't logistically make sense. And then the way back, he'll be driving, but it's a tight turnaround to get on a plane. So the real answer is like, no, we don't have the time. But once you finish your obligations for the show, do what you will. So this is where I have to tell PJ. I was like driving up there. I had already taken Alec to the airport. I was making my way up. I had a red eye. And I decided, okay, I'm going to go and honor PJ to the steps. And everybody's taking the photo with Rocky, the little statue that they have there, I should say the big statue. And I put up a poll and I said, should I do the thing? Should I take the photo? 90% of my responders were like, yes. And the real answer was, you fools. I am never going to wait in a line to take a photo with a Rocky statue. The best I did was pull up the truest Mexican trick I knew, which was to go around the line, get a selfie with me and Rocky blurry in the background and be like, good enough. We did it. I'm not waiting that line. Because the other thing is, the way that they have him hunched over and celebrating like this is like also not super accurate. Like nobody has this pose when they win a fight.
Right.
So I'm thinking like, I don't want to make that same pose. I'm going to look dumb. Like I want hands all the way up. But because they're like angled down, it looks a little awkward. Yeah. So I went there. Yeah. And because I was by myself, Tim, I had the ability to pick up spot. So I would like to take a second and shout out where I went. I went to this fine establishment, D'Alessandro Steaks, and I have to say, I looked it up online, and I was like, let's see. And they ranked it number 1, and I'm going to show you, this was my Philly cheesesteak that I ended up having. 0 regrets. As soon as I ate it, I was like, yeah, I see why this is the number 1. But I also had the benefit of not having 14 dudes in my car. Now, I feel bad to our crew because that would have 100% been what I would have stepped in and been like, shut up. Lisa, drink the water. Bart, don't do that. Like, that's usually my approach to everybody shut up and love each other. So I'm just going to tell you this. PJ, I love you. I'm very sorry I did not give you more time. Well, actually, I didn't plan the budget. That was not me. I did not take reins on figuring out when you could or could not. And PJ also had to do the good guy thing of driving everybody around. But I did take this photo in honor of PJ. And I hope you know that in the future, I will try to plan a trip where we can do this together. But this was my way of acknowledging there's the Rocky statue. There's me. We did it. And I'm not waiting in line for that bullshit. So A+ experience, everybody.
Good job.
Hey, I just want to shout out everybody who was on our card. Those of you who took 1 or 2 matches, that's great. Thank you so much. I think we had a phenomenal show. Very proud of everybody. My favorite part was the staff. I love seeing our team bond. It was a hell of a trip. It really did take a lot out of everybody, but I'm so incredibly proud of the work that our boys did. And I think we put together a very good show and something very unique that I don't think they have over there. You can have a lot of jiu-jitsu shows, but I really don't think they're our show. And I'm very proud of that fact. And I wish them success out there, continue to do great things. A lot of those guys seem like they're very exciting grapplers, but, ain't no show like a subversive show. So why don't we move on to our next topic? Tim, this is a big one, and I do have some news to break for you on this. Just in terms of, this is a twofer, because next Thursday, UFC BJJ 10 is going to take place. But there's also an underlying thing that happens with the brand of UFC BJJ, as they will also have their very first open. Tim, what can you tell me about what is going to be on next week's card?
Yeah, so next week's card is UFC BJJ 10. It's featuring quite a few standouts in the grappling world and some names that have been around for a while. We will see Danielle Kelly, who I think we last saw her in one, but maybe she's been on UFC BJJ since then. But we will see her taking on Anna Lima. And then a couple names you should recognize. The ageless man, Wagner Roches, taking on Andy Varela. We're also going to see William Tackett and Fedor Nikolov. I think that will be a very interesting fight. Big test, I think, for Fedor. Fedor is a great athlete, always picking up new skills. William Tackett's a very tall order, so I think that's going to be a great matchup. And then we're going to see a very highly decorated female competitor, Adele Fornerino, taking on Carol Bernasio. This is a major matchup to watch. She is the reigning ADCC double champ who is moving further into the UFC BJJ ecosystem. So it's very interesting to kind of see how this one plays out. And then we're going to also see Cassia Mora take on Bree Stick. Congratulations to Bree Stick. She's been trying for a minute to get on one of these major cards. And she worked with us a lot out at 10th Planet Stockton. So best of luck to her in that matchup. We'll see Rebecca Lima against Brianna St. Marie, which is the featherweight championship. And then we got the main event, which is Andrew Tackett and Jonatas Gracie. This is the welterweight championship. This is actually a really good matchup. I think this is going to be a great card. Jonatas has been on a very good run. He's got great passing, great pressure. We've seen him lately have some pretty dominating performances against guys that you might not have expected that to happen. Having said that, Andrew Tackett is one of the absolute best in the game right now. So big matchup. I think that's going to be a super, super entertaining fight to watch. So good job to the UFC for putting this one on, because I think there's some good matchups on this card.
So Tim, what would you do if I were to tell you the UFC BJJ Open looks like it's doing a decent number? So if I were to ask you to ballpark a number, what number would you predict that have currently signed up on Smooth Comp for UFC BJJ's very first Open?
I'm sorry. You cut out at one moment there. Can you say that part again?
Yeah, I'm just asking, how many people do you think have signed up for the UFC BJJ Open?
In Phoenix or in Vegas?
Vegas, because Vegas is the very first one, and it is taking place next week.
Well, I did get an update from a student. There's I want to say there was over 2,000 people signed up for it.
As of right now, 2,042. And that update from a student was from me. because I texted.
Oh,
it
that
to
was you. I
So-
knew somebody did, but
I was hoping to put you
why
in the
would you ask
ballpark so
me?
you wouldn't be as surprised,
Got
but
it.
I was hoping you would play along for the reveal. But that's okay. That's just a
sorry,
TV
man.
trick. What I can tell
I'm
you
sorry,
is
Raf.
it's okay. 2,042 athletes have signed up. Now, I don't know the details of this. I don't know if they've been given comps, but it looks like they've mobbed out the amount of young kids who are competing in this. Because I saw like hundreds and hundreds of kids signed up for it. And it like, I was trying to get to like, oh, what adults have signed up. I scrolled down and down and down, and I was still in the kids sections. And I go, oh my God. So it looks like a lot of the coaches have wanted to bring their teams to this event. So now I think it stands to reason that the UFC brand is very strong in its market where it is performing the way it should. I think over time we'll see how it performs in, say, Phoenix, or I think they've also said that they're going to go to, was it Carolina? Let me double check here. There's already like 4 spots that they have announced at.
Yeah.
And for those different venues, now I'm starting to think like, do they maintain that? Or is UFC the hub in Vegas? So it's Indianapolis, Fort Lauderdale, Phoenix, and the very first one in Vegas next week. So they look like they're doing an every 3 weeks, 2 weeks cadence. And it's getting off to a remarkably strong point. Now, I know we said we need to watch it and pay very close attention to it, but it feels like just the fact that you add UFC to this for the very first event or so has gotten a lot of interest. Why do you think that is, though, Tim?
Well, I think it's because the way that people view the UFC brand who are already kind of in the fight game in some capacity versus the way people view the UFC brand who kind of look at it from the outside in. Those are two very, very different ideas. And I think sometimes for us, we're kind of like a little bit surprised at the way it's viewed, but I think people really like the UFC. They like the brand. And if you're a parent and you're not really a training, but your kid is, your kids do martial arts and they're going to do, of course, if they say, look, we can go out to Warrior Quest in Rio Linda, or we can go to UFC BJJ in Las Vegas, you're going to UFC BJJ in Las Vegas. So, and maybe Vegas will pull a huge amount of numbers, and you kind of alluded to this. Maybe the other cities won't. I don't know, because Vegas is still a bit of a destination. People will go, oh, let's go to Vegas and do the thing. Not too many people are going like, let's go to Indianapolis and do the thing. Like, maybe, but we'll see.
We're going to play a game now because guess what, Tim?
Out to Vegas to do.
I texted you the numbers for Vegas, but I didn't text you the other ones. So,
okay,
I'm going to ask you right now. We're going to play a game of I'm going to give you an event destination. You're going to tell me how many people you think are currently signed up for it. So the next one on the cards is in Phoenix. How many people do you think so far have signed up in Phoenix for a UFC BJJ Open?
Is this in September or October?
This is actually the weekend of ADCC. So it's September 12th and 13th.
Well, ADCC is in Poland, so I think it probably has right now. I'm going to put my BJJ thinking cap on. I'm going to say 380.
Not bad, Tim. Currently 425 athletes are signed up for that one.
Okay. What's next? Give me another one. I'm feeling good right now.
I'm now going to move to the next one, which is Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and that is September 26th and 27th.
Okay, let me think. Fort Lauderdale. Okay, Florida, they like to get down. Fort Lauderdale likes to party. Let's see. I'm going to say, I don't think it's much more. I'm going to say like 350.
That one is 229. So under Price is Right rules, you would have gone over. Now, here's the important thing to note.
Dang.
They are still 5 weeks away. So
Yeah.
not a death sentence, but we are a far cry away from the 2000. And it makes you figure, if it's a fight city like Vegas and it becomes a destination for LA, because I've seen a lot of people who are very interested who are driving their kids from LA, all of Southern California to Vegas. I feel like that very first one is an intriguing destination. I don't feel that this is fully fair, but we're going to do it anyways. The last one on the docket is Indianapolis, and that is going to take place on October 21st or 24th and 25th. How many people have currently signed up? Now, mind you, Tim, that's 2 months away.
Now, I have some 10th Planet indie homies, so this is not shade on you. You know I love you guys. I'm saying Indianapolis, the home of the Pacers. I'm going to go like 39.
Not bad. The answer is 62 right now.
Oh, I was going to go in the 70s, but I thought, no, that's too generous. This is Indianapolis. What are you talking about?
Now, Tim, all of this is to say, we were criticizing the UFC BJJ for not cultivating talent. But I think part of the appeal is when you say, oh, man, look at how he's doing with all these parents. A lot of these parents are like, we're going to get you into the UFC. Come on, kid, get out there. Yeah. And you wouldn't figure that would be a realistic thing, given the fact that UFC BJJ has not had any real homegrown talent. But then they posted this today, and I think it bears repeating. Competing at UFC BJJ Opens. Prove you belong at the highest level. Competing on UFC BJJ. Become a UFC BJJ champion. The pathway to becoming a world champion starts here.
Yeah. It's the pipeline.
They have put it out there now officially that they are looking at this as a talent scouting opportunity. The real key, though, is a lot of people can have a good first tournament.
Sure.
Repeat success is where most scouts find them. So I don't know if these guys are put on some sort of Sentinel watch program where now they're going to go find the active mutants at different organizations and try plucking them whenever they do something good. But it does tell you that that is part of the mission statement here. So it's not just to go out there and spread the gospel of jiu-jitsu. They are thinking about it as a talent pool. And I will tell you, as long as you dangle that carrot, I think there is the potential for people to go and at least audition or compete on that. But I am weary, Tim, on the practicality of it. So I will be very, very closely watching how they pluck talent and when do they pull the trigger. Because I have a feeling there will be more of the Ethan Krellenstein pulls rather than the UFC BJJ pulls. Could be wrong, though. I just will tell people, I think the timing will not be lost on us when we're watching now. So just keep that in mind, everybody. All right, let's move to our next topic, Tim. There are some updates for PGF 10. The action is happening fast and furious. And by my count, it does look like we have some very big opportunities for people who are looking to get into that world. So, Tim, what can you fill us in that world on updates?
So out in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, the Carolina Copperheads had their qualifier over the weekend, and 2 new athletes, winners, are moving on into the PGF Season 10 draft. That is at 145, Vincent Morelli. He defeated Christopher Rios with a triangle choke. And then Leo Schwebel at 185 took on Brian Armstrong. Brian Armstrong got a break in 15 seconds, which is pretty wild. I keep telling people, I have people come up and ask me like a lot back here, like, how do I get into the PGF? Go to a qualifier. There's lots of qualifiers. They're close enough that you could get to them. And I'm not going to say, like, there's very good athletes in the qualifier, but that's going to be your best route. If you're like, oh, I got to have to go out and beat the top guy in my region for the PGF to notice me, that might be tricky. But if you slide into a qualifier right now, you have a shot at doing it. So big ups to them. And I kind of enjoy the qualifier process a little bit now because it's a little more drawn out and it takes time to build, but you kind of know, and I'm hoping the PGF can keep these athletes hooked in. So by the time the draft comes around, they're still on the table and they haven't gone like, I'm going to Tahiti or whatever. Right. Because I think it gives the fans time to start to learn about these guys and build stories about them. So congrats to those boys. I'm not sure when the next qualifier is coming up, but I'm assuming I think it's going to be the Houston Wranglers in September 12th in Texas. So there's your shot, fellas.
Thank you for that update, Tim. We're going to move on now to our next topic. And this is an interesting one because it happened in the world of MMA, and it definitely garnered enough attention to get a response from Dana White, who, as we know, is always quiet about his opinion. But in this particular case, it was a very nasty break on one of the, I believe, Dana White Contender Series matches where Dana had some thoughts on a submission move gone wrong. Tim, what can you tell us about that moment?
I could tell you, look, I admire the gentleman's arm who was broken. I admire his tenacity and his never give up spirit. This is your shot. That you're probably thinking there's a chance I can get out of this. Unfortunately, John Koonman gets caught in an armbar by Joseph Kropshot. And listen, I don't know if that's how you pronounce the name. It's spelled Kropschot. That sounds like Kropshot to me. I'm just saying that's either going to really work for you or really not work for you, but it's pretty close. Koonman would not tap. His arm was clear, even from the photo. I know it's kind of grainy, but his arm was clearly bent in the wrong direction. Gets the break. After the match, in the press conference, somebody asked Dana White about it. And Dana White says this, which I know he kind of dabbled around in jiu-jitsu, especially in the early days, but I didn't know exactly this. He said jiu-jitsu was his introduction into MMA. And he's like, man, I admire this guy's toughness, but you have to tap. It's part of the sport. Like, if you take permanent damage in your arm, it will affect you for the rest of your life. It'll affect your performances in the future. So I thought that was interesting to say, but then on the same other side of the token, it's like, hey, you need to go out there and bang and not give up, even if you get knocked out. No regard for your head, but protect your arm. But he really should have tapped, man. It's a pretty gruesome break.
I wonder how that conference went. I didn't see it, but I can only imagine it.
You want me to ask you the question and you could be
sure, Dana? Absolutely. You know what? I'll do that. Let's do split.
Hey, Dana, what did you think about John Koonman refusing to tap in the armbar and getting his arm broken?
I always say, when you do jiu-jitsu, because that was my entry into this whole world was, the way I got into this was originally with jiu-jitsu. You got to tap, I think there's one thing you learn when you come into jiu-jitsu is you better tap or your arm's going to snap. I mean, am I right? But, yeah, no, seriously, I think his arm would have had permanent damage. And I think, very sad situation. But if you want to be a fighter, you got to basically take yourself to the extreme. Just not that extreme. Go right up to the limit. You know what it's like? It's like filling up a cup. It's like you go to Costco, you fill up your cup. You're like, hold on. There's a little bit of foam there. Don't think that's where you tap. Let the foam die down. Take it back up. Oh, no, you spilled over. Your arm's broken. Should have tapped, buddy. Just saying. Got to use this thing so that this thing can live a good life.
Nice work. Yeah, listen, spot on. If I close my eyes, spot on. Probably more articulate. Maybe more well thought out. Better examples.
Well, I'll add two more. Hey, go fuck yourself. Yeah. Gareth Harlow. Yeah, I see you. Look at this guy. That's actually a pretty good impression. I like this guy. You know what? I'm going to go up and give this guy $25K, just like I do the Nelk boys. You're all right, man. I like you. That's a good guy. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Thank you very much, Garrett. We're going to move on to this one because I don't know what to do with this topic, Tim. I guess we're in the clear in jiu-jitsu. There's a new study or studies that seem to say or suggest that jiu-jitsu is not responsible for CTE. So, Tim, what bro science is bringing us this incredibly convenient and also very important statistic?
Listen, first of all, I want to say I'm not a doctor. I'm not qualified to give medical advice. I'm not even qualified to read medical advice. I'm not qualified to paraphrase medical articles. So don't believe a damn word that comes out of my mouth. But I looked at it, and what I got is, brain damage ain't our fault in jiu-jitsu. Like, that one's not on us. We got enough bad stuff going on, but we're not catching a stray on CTE. We're getting out of the way there. Essentially, the gist of it is that blood flow restriction to the brain does not appear to have a relationship to CTE style head trauma. I would think that reducing your blood flow to your brain probably has some other type of significant side effect if you're doing it over and over and over again. Probably not great for you. It is a better idea to tap than to go out. But in terms of CTE, you could tell your friends, you could tell your mom, you could tell your wife, you could tell your grandma, you could tell prospective clients, everyone who's concerned, this is not from us this time. So good job, jiu-jitsu.
It's like I've been telling people for a long time. You can't get CTE from doing jiu-jitsu. I mean, I think everybody knows that. So, when you got to tap, that's cool. But if you nap, you're good. So snap, bad. Nap, that one's okay. So I'm just saying, make sure when you guys do jiu-jitsu, you do the good kind of jiu-jitsu, not the kind that snaps you.
Very, very nice. The smash cut to Dana, that got me good, Raf. That got me very, very good.
You put them in order. I just do what I'm supposed to do and just moderate perfect. As the board tells me what to do, and the board tells me we must move on. All right, we were gone when this really hit big, so if you hear this opinion coming about Jonah Hill and you got feelings about it, don't worry. We're here to reignite it so you can get back into the comment section and tell us your opinion. It seems that Jonah Hill made some statements while talking to the boys from Smartless, basically insinuating that he is ready to annihilate anybody who calls him the fat kid from Superbad, which, by the way, is not a bad moniker. I don't know many people who don't like the movie Superbad, so if there's really one credit you get to hang around with for the rest of your life, not a bad one to have. But Tim, it looks like the internet culture for jiu-jitsu has continued to progress, and now they demand something. What is it that people are clamoring for?
Oh, the internet culture is terrible, and I gotta say this. I legit feel bad for Jonah Hill. He's a very funny dude. I have really enjoyed some of the roles he's played in movies, and I legitimately I think he really does enjoy jiu-jitsu. And I also remember what it felt like when you realized you could do a few things. Like when you're a white belt, you're getting cracked on by everybody. And you don't really get anything anywhere until you've been there for a minute and another new person comes in. And then you get to demonstrate your prowess on them and take that next step in the white belt hierarchy. Maybe he's done this or maybe he hasn't. He's probably getting private lessons. Not for me to say. But I have been there in that mindset, except when I was there, I wasn't on a podcast with a bunch of professional actors and a million people watching and listening. I didn't even have social media, so I could just tell it to my wife, and then it was like, whatever, dude. So this guy talks, and then it's out. It's everywhere. He basically threatened Jason Bateman. He basically said, come at me, bro. I'll annihilate you. And I think Bateman's thinking about it. I was looking at the look on his face. I think he thinks he could tag him. I seriously do. But Reddit got a hold of this, went bananas, and then they started calling for a Moneyberg versus Jonah Hill matchup. There's talk about setting up a GoFundMe. Obviously, Moneyberg's in if there's a GoFundMe. I don't know about Jonah Hill, but it's been a few weeks since we've heard from Moneyberg, and so I think Reddit wants to see him. I'm behind it. It would be a great. Hey, Craig, CJI3. Maybe this is your celebrity super fight, Jonah Hill versus Derek Moneyberg. I would like to see that. Having said all that, I do feel a little bit bad for Jonah Hill, not for Moneyberg, but a little bit for Jonah Hill. I do think it's cool that he's training. It's just when you say you're going to annihilate your friends, and the whole world's listening, there's a lot of tough dudes that want to test that. Thank God, all my conversations are out in the world.
Strong disagree. So, Jonah Hill made waves for saying a statement that is kind of outlandish. Let's start with that. I like Jonah Hill. I think he has done some incredible work. So like Tim, we share that. I'd like to talk directly to two-time Oscar nominee Jonah Hill. Jonah, you're so good at making movies that make us laugh. You do incredible work. You've gotten to work with some of my favorite directors and producers and writers, and that's got to be for a reason. However, saying that you're going to annihilate somebody, while funny, does raise some suspicions on your training. Now, it's not to say that you don't have good training. I think that you've gotten some privates. You've found great mental health resources through this. I think it could be very therapeutic. So I think you're part of the community. Where it feels like maybe you're getting the celebrity version of training and not the community version of training is, if you were doing this in a gym and you said you were going to annihilate somebody, that would very quickly get stomped out by your training partners. Think about that.
Yeah.
At most gyms, when you say you can beat somebody up and you offer that, you better be a fighter. You better be the best guy in the gym enforcer. If you're still the white belt or blue belt saying that, you will very quickly get put back into place by an upper belt. Because somebody's going to challenge you. They're going to say, hey, and therein lies the issue. There's no challenge. So then when people go online, they have feelings about what you say. And the main reason is they have nothing to base it on. So if there's no competition that they've seen, then they just start ascribing, that dude sucks. That dude's not really training jiu-jitsu. So people start making up their own theories, their own thoughts. Maybe not unlike what we're doing here, but we're just trying to explain why there's been a little bit of pushback on this particular issue. Because I want people training. I want people to enjoy it. But annihilating a dude that calls you the fat kid from Superbad, to paraphrase somebody who eloquently said it in that movie, the people, they don't forget. It's just for us in this world, because there is no competition. People are going to ascribe their own things on you're good, you're trash, you're probably not that great. Let's look at this little bit of footage that we have and analyze it if you're good or bad. None of that matters, dude. I just want you to enjoy training for what it is. You don't have to compete. But now that you put yourself into the conversation, you're going to get paired up with dum-dums like Moneyberg, who we really weren't even talking about. We got a year away from bringing him up, and I think everybody was happy. I think Moneyberg probably spent a little bit of money in jiu-jitsu and goes, this is kind of not a good ROI. I'm getting out of this shit. And then all of a sudden, Jonah Hill says he's going to annihilate somebody, and he's back in the conversation because we need what? Some kind of competition comparison. So Jonah, I hope you take this one on the chin. I know it's not great. We still want you to be a part of the community. But I think it does bear explaining that, yes, that would 100% be the moment we would set up a white belt fight at my gym. Like, I wouldn't even be the one having to do it. Somebody would challenge somebody else and we'd be like, all right, let them go to work. Did they sign the waivers? Anyway.
You know what? I changed my mind now.
What's that?
You have changed my mind. You're actually right. If he was in general population, the white belts would have fleshed that right out real quick. Because you get put in a pecking. Look, my first few months were at the Nick Diaz Academy. In the pecking order, I was underneath a 14-year-old. Like I had to fight like tooth and nail to pass a 14-year-old up in the hierarchy, man. Yeah, that would have got wiped out of him.
I'm saying there is an explanation to why people feel so strongly about this. And
Sure.
I don't know that the people are wrong. They're just extreme. So that is mainly why it happened. Because if you're Jonah Hill, you're like, what the fuck, dude? I made a joke on a podcast. And you're thinking like, I'm saying it to other actors who we probably all would beat up. So yeah, I kind of get that's the silliness of the remark. And I think the Smartless guys actually took it better than anybody in our community. They're just like, Jonah, you're crazy. Meanwhile, all of us are like, what'd you say? Bro, show up at a Naga right now. I want to see how good you're at. Right now. I want to see what that training is. Show me how good that, oh, I saw that clip of you. That takedown was trash. You're trash, Jonah Hill. It's like, I don't even think it's that extreme. I just think, all right, dude, he made a joke, but it's the type of joke that would have repercussions at any other gym. That's as simple as it is. So, all right, Tim.
You're right.
We're going to get to our low light highlight of the week. What can you tell us about this week's fight of the week, sir?
I don't know what city this is in. It does take place in the food truck genre of fighting, but it's a good old boy. Looks like maybe he just got back from a Garth Brooks concert. Maybe he's walking home and he stopped it, or walking to his spot and he stopped at the food stand. He's taken on two dudes, and he's not only taking these guys on, he's having a conversation with a group of people on the side who are filming it, who end up kind of looking out for the guys. But you got to watch the whole video, because there's a point where you think it's over, but it's not actually over. Very, very entertaining. This dude really put it down. It was fun to watch. Tough old dude.
All right, Tim, let's take a look at it here, sir. Walk us through it, sir.
Let's go. Okay, so let's go. Good boy takes a swing, immediately just chucks this guy. Just chucks him. Starts to whoop on him. Now his buddy walks up, and he's going to power drive him, and he can't get it. And he throws a right hand, chucks that dude down, pushes him away. Now his buddy comes up. He eats a stiff left hand. He's taking shots. Now he's like, I don't want this. And now he goes, you know what? Into the truck. Just smashes him in the truck. Now in the video right now, he's going, where's the other one at? And they're hiding behind the car now. And these other people are trying to kind of hold him back. And this guy's like, no, I'm tough. I'm tough. And he's like, you think you're tough? Where's the other one at? He wants to lick them both. Like, he wants to put them both on the ground. Now these nice people who are filming are trying to actually save these guys' lives from this dude. And he ain't got enough yet, right? You think he's done. And he's going to get one more in, and then the little kick in the butt just to top it off.
Good Lord.
A lot of fun to watch. I wish we could play the audio, because the audio was fantastic.
Let me start off with this. In the striped shirt here on the right-hand side, you see Vince Vaughn's cousin on a bad day coming to start things with younger Peter Parker. Now, what I love about this is that's a great launch. Look at the way that whip of the shirt really puts this kid on the ground, and yet the shirt stays intact. So let's find out what brand that is. But second of all, I think we need to keep a running tally of how many shirts die in these fights. Because they're the first thing to go when anybody gets into a big altercation. Some real illegal bolos here. He's thinking about a powerbomb, but really can't set him up properly. Now, the poor people at this truck, you really have to feel for them, because the condiment section did not deserve to have this savage attack, blowing some of those condiment dispensers out. And they're about to go inside the kitchen, off limits. Yeah. If this is any other food truck, there is a tia, there is a nana, there is a grandma that pushes you out and gets into the fight herself. They are lucky they didn't catch those hands. This poor kid, though, he threw up his one strike here, and zero significant strike. Does not connect. So now, cousin of Vince Vaughn basically just chops him down. And these strikes aren't really connecting, so they're not really important, but they are adding up. But his launch ability, this dude should have been on the shot put team, because some of these have been spectacular. This is what I love is the storming around like you need something from everybody who's watching you. This is akin to in pro wrestling where somebody's like, give me a chair. Does anybody have a chair? And everybody's like, I'm not part of the act, dude. Leave me alone. But he comes around and he's basically telling, hey, come on over here. And this is the most frightened I have seen a child in some time, because the two of them are now trying to figure out their strategy. You want to go get him from that side? Nah, man, I don't want to go that way. He's been launching you pretty bad. Okay, how about we go on 3? 1, 2. Oh, I can't hit the randos. All right, I'm going to walk around. Everybody's cool. Then Bone Crusher comes out. Bone Crusher settles everything. He moves them around. It's great. And it looks like they get their escape. And then, oh no. Oh, he clocks them one good time. And then it's Windows restart program. Tim, what an incredible fight to end the show with. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you, good sir?
You can find me at Inside BJJ on all your favorite social media. You can catch me at Nashville, 10th Planet Nashville. If you're out in the South, come see me. And if you're out in Stockton, go see my boys at 10th Planet Stockton. Raf Esparza, fantastic job at Subversive. You are a G, my man. I appreciate your work. It's a pleasure to actually get to do commentary with you. You are a pro. You're awesome. It was the easiest gig that I've ever done, and that's because of you. So thank you so much, man. Great show today. It's great to talk to you.
Tim, great work as always. I had just as much fun commentating with you, and I don't think it'll be the last time now, so I can firmly say that. But I'll tell you this much right now, Tim, you get on out of here. I'm going to close this up. Thank you for a week of great, incredible work. Great show today, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, we appreciate that. Gives us some love. We like to give it back to you guys. We give you great shows. We do a lot of good work. And we are a weekly show, so you can catch us Fridays, usually about 2:30-ish, 3 Pacific time. So just let you know. Check us out Fridays. And occasionally you can see us on some big events like PGF and Subversive. No big deal. We're like the pre and post show for those things. It's all good. Anyway, ladies and gents, be sure to love and appreciate everything that we do. You can check me out on Patreon at Grappling Hour. You can also catch me next week putting together Sparstar BJJ. Very excited for that. So putting that together, I am matchmaking for that. I think I've got some very fun matches for you guys next Saturday, and that is taking place at the Dirt Dog in Commerce. You can also catch me matchmaking for IFS at the end of the month out in Anaheim. So if you want to get on those cards, always get at me. I can't promise you anything. So does not mean just because you sign up, you get on the show. But I will do my best that I can to get you some great matches. And that's it, ladies and gents. Like, follow, subscribe everywhere at Grappling Hour and Inside BJJ. That's going to do it for us, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.